In the 80th minute at Celtic Park, with the Champions League knockout stages hanging in the balance, a quiet Japanese midfielder stepped up to take a 30 metres free kick against Manchester United. What happened next sent 60,000 fans into delirium and launched Celtic into the knockout stages for the first time since the format changed. But here's what nobody talks about. This wasn't just a free kick, it was redemption for a player the Scottish press had called a panic buy just 18 months earlier. His name was Shunsuke Nakamura, and this is the story of how a forgotten midfielder from Yokohama became a Scottish legend, then mysteriously vanished from European football forever. Nakamura had arrived at Celtic Park carrying nothing but a worn-out duffel bag and the crushing weight of European failure. 3 years in Italy had broken him. At Regina, Shunsuke Nakamura, once Japan's golden boy, found himself warming benches and dodging criticism about his slight frame. European football, they said, was too physical for players like him. By summer 2005, whispers followed him everywhere. Another talented Asian export who couldn't adapt. Another cautionary tale. Celtic offered him one final chance. At 27, this was it. Prove he belonged in European football or accept that his continental dream was over. Nakamura's first months were a nightmare. The physicality was overwhelming. His slight frame couldn't handle the brutal Scottish tackles. Celtic fans started to wonder if the critics were right. Suddenly, this quiet Japanese midfielder was becoming something Glasgow had never seen before. His breakthrough moment came against Livingston. Free kick 30 metres out. The Celtic Park crowd had seen Nakamura practice these impossible angles all week in training. The ball flew like a guided missile, curving around the wall and nestling perfectly in the top corner. Celtic Park erupted. This wasn't just a goal, it was an announcement. Within weeks, Scottish defenders were terrified of giving away free kicks anywhere within 35 metres of goal. Nakamura had found his weapon. By 2006, everything had changed. The same fans who questioned his signing were now chanting his name. His free kicks became must-see television across Scotland. But Celtic manager knew this was just the beginning. He was preparing Nakamura for something bigger, Champions League nights that would define his legacy forever. The 2006 Champions League group stage changed everything. His set pieces became legendary. But his masterpiece came November 21, 2006, Celtic Park against Manchester United. With Celtic needing a result to reach the Champions League knockout stages, Nakamura stepped up from 30 metres. The ball sailed over the wall, dipped perfectly and nestled in Van der Sar's top corner. Celtic had beaten Manchester United 1-0. Sir Alex Ferguson later called him the most dangerous set-piece specialist we faced in Europe. Matt Letizia described it as one of the greatest free kicks ever scored. The next 2 seasons were Nakamura's masterpiece. He became the creative heartbeat of Celtic, dictating games with his passing, deciding matches with his free kicks, and mesmerizing opponents with his technical ability. His left foot became the most feared weapon in Scottish football. But perhaps no moment better captured his genius than April 22, 2007, at Rugby Park against Kilmarnock. Celtic needed a win to secure the Scottish Premier League title. The game was deadlocked at 1-1 deep into stoppage time when Celtic were awarded a free kick about 25 metres from goal. The pressure was immense, the title hung in the balance. Nakamura stepped up with that familiar composure. He curled the ball with his left foot around the wall and into the bottom right corner beyond the reach of the helpless goalkeeper. The spectacular injury time goal not only gave Celtic a 2-1 victory, but clinched the league title. Celtic fans and players erupted in wild celebrations. It was a moment that highlighted everything special about Nakamura, his technical brilliance, his psychological strength in high-pressure situations, and his ability to deliver when it mattered most. The statistics were staggering. In his 4 seasons at Celtic, Nakamura scored 31 goals, but numbers couldn't capture his true impact. He changed the way Celtic played, transforming them from a direct, physical team into a side capable of sophisticated, technical football. His passes opened up defences that seemed impenetrable, his set pieces turned draws into wins, and his presence elevated every player around him. The fans adored him. In a country where football was often about passion over precision, Nakamura proved that artistry could triumph over athleticism. Children began practicing free kicks in his style. Fans wore his number 25 jersey with pride, and his name was sung from the terraces with genuine affection. He won 3 consecutive Scottish Premier League titles, 2 Scottish Cups, and established himself as one of the greatest players in Celtic's history. His free kick against Manchester United is regarded as one of the greatest set-piece goals in competition history, and he was consistently rated among the top midfielders in European football. But football careers don't last forever. The 2008-09 season brought the first signs of decline. A serious knee injury limited his playing time. The explosiveness that made his free kicks unstoppable began to fade. Gordon Strachan's tactical changes reduced his influence. Younger, more physical players were prioritised. By 2009, Nakamura himself admitted the Scottish Premier League was declining in quality and investment. The magic was still there in flashes, but the consistency had gone. By 2009, age was catching up with Nakamura's legs. The explosive pace that once terrorised Scottish defences had slowed. His free kick accuracy, once surgical, became inconsistent. Celtic's new generation didn't revolve around his genius the way Strachan's team had. The club was moving toward a more physical, direct style that didn't suit his artistry. The writing was on the wall, his Celtic chapter was ending, and with it, his European relevance. June 2009. Espanyol announced the signing that surprised European football. Nakamura was heading to Spain, determined to prove himself in most technical league. But the dream quickly became a nightmare. Language barriers, cultural differences, and tactical confusion plagued his adaptation. Within months, he was reduced to substitute appearances. The precision that made him unstoppable at Celtic seemed lost in Barcelona's shadow. By December 2009, Espanyol had transfer listed him. The Spanish experiment lasted just 6 months, his shortest stint at any professional club. Today, more than a decade after his departure, Nakamura remains a beloved figure at Celtic Park. His jersey is still worn with pride, his free kicks are still replayed on YouTube, and his name is still sung by fans who remember the magic he brought to Glasgow. He proved that football isn't just about physicality or pace, it's about intelligence, technique, and the ability to create moments of pure beauty in a sport that can often be ugly. He showed that a quiet, modest player from Yokohama could mesmerize one of European football's most passionate fan bases. But perhaps most importantly, he demonstrated that some stories are perfect precisely because they don't overstay their welcome. Nakamura arrived as a panic buy, became a legend, and left at exactly the right moment, ensuring his legacy would remain untainted by decline. Shunsuke Nakamura's time at Celtic was brief but brilliant. 4 seasons that felt like a lifetime of memories compressed into pure footballing gold. He was the Japanese maestro who proved that genius recognizes no borders, that magic can emerge from the most unlikely places, and that sometimes the most beautiful stories are the ones that end too soon. In an era of social media and constant exposure, there's something refreshing about a player who arrived quietly, performed miracles, and then slipped away into the mist, leaving only memories and the echo of 60,000 voices singing his name. That free kick against Manchester United wasn't just a goal, it was a moment when football transcended sport and became art. And perhaps that's the real reason Nakamura vanished from European football. He had created his masterpiece. Everything else would have been mere footnotes. Some magicians know exactly when to leave the stage, ensuring the audience remembers only the wonder, never the decline. Shunsuke Nakamura was one of those magicians, and Celtic Park was his greatest trick. The Japanese maestro who mesmerized Celtic didn't vanish. He simply knew that legends are best preserved in amber, perfect and untouchable, forever frozen in that moment when the impossible became inevitable, and a quiet man from Yokohama became immortal.